For moment, say a widespread it say a year IGP, a Dr. Akufu Dampare, George Akufu Dampare, at me a John Dramane Mahama, His Excellency, at me as a canon, every any position with me occupy as IGP. No. Now, a year we not to say for eba bonten sɛ saa rumors ya sɛ den ɛkɔ ti atwenni sɛ now tenten fidie so nyinaa no ɛnyɛ bi ɛnyɛ no correct sɛ ɛnyɛ no correct sɛ like yenya engine to musi asake IGP na Imani Africa widespread a friend say ekuo bi fa sɛ ekuo nti na ɔmode nsimia ne abatu edwa sɛ saa sake etimi asake one is to just say president etimi sake some friends saying some positions and some individuals etimi occupy na saa sake na be sake no onye putipe kope no etimi asake obi free ade so saa Imani Africa etimi file injunction on saa in some ways and some of court clearly ebeje to me say etimi asake Imani Africa friends saying IGP George Kofi Dampare etimi free ideas no enti for nsem bebrena na etimi abeto dwa just for etimi nchechi ni nemu a enti wo se kwachi nchechi mu na kwachi enkrato ni na free odu ne bom mati enti ensem no enkuti nsem mu nhwemu ni na embrace eba edeke na betom so
Mahama and other presidents from firing the IGP and any other security heads until an ongoing case relating to the matter is decided by the court later in May. According to the plaintiff, the said security heads will be unfairly treated if they are removed before the matter, which is pending before the Supreme Court, is heard. The development comes on the back of raging reports that the president intends to remove the Inspector General of Police and other heads of security agencies. Imani Africa and Professor Kwesi Aining have been in court since June 2024, challenging the powers of the president to revoke appointments of security heads without a proper legal basis. And what we do know is that this particular issue has been in court for some time, and the final hearing will be later this year, in May specifically. Let's try and get the thoughts of Kofi Bentil, who is Vice President of Imani Africa. He's joined us via phone for a quick chat. Mr. Bentil, good evening and thank you for your time.
Good evening and thanks for having me.
Right, we do know that the final hearing decision will be in May, but we are told that as of this evening, you have returned to the court to seek more or less an injunction if President Mahama intends to sack the current IGP. Is that the case, and why?
Well, thank you very much. I think a few things have to be clarified, and I want to make it clear that I am a party in the matter and a lawyer in the matter, so I don't intend to discuss the merits of the matter. What I want to do here is to explain what has happened, for the benefit of the
Mr. Bentil, can you kindly speak up for me? I can barely hear you, sir.
I am saying I don't intend to discuss the merits of the matter.
Right.
Because the Supreme Court is about to rule on it.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do is explain what has happened for the rule on it.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do is explain what has happened for the benefit of your listeners.
Sure.
So this matter was filed sometime last year, I think March or so last year, so it's been there for a while. And a date has been set for a judgment on the matter. Okay. Normally when a court is seized with a matter, especially when all the parties have been heard and you are about to get judgment, there is an inherent injunction so that no party has to take any action that renders the, judgment of the court, nugatory or useless. So already it is understood generally amongst lawyers that in a situation like this, everybody must stay their hand. Now, what we all woke up to in the last few days were, rumors all over the place that the president was just about to relieve the IGP of his position. Now, we are not challenging the powers of the president. What we are saying, which we have said to the court, and which the Attorney General has come to also speak about, is that indeed The president's powers do not extend to removing any service chief without due process, without cause, and that they are protected both in the Constitution and in their service regulations. So it is not about challenging anything or running to the court for an injunction. One, the injunction actually supposed to exist already. We are just trying to get a situation where the Supreme Court confirms it, just to clear the rumors. And by the way, there are rumors. For the president hasn't done anything. We just wanted to make it very clear that whilst we are waiting for a judgment and a ruling from the Supreme Court, everybody must stay their hand. All right. So when the Supreme Court rules, we will know whether indeed the president has authority to remove any of the service chiefs or not. And that clarity will help the whole country, going forward.
Right. And Mr. Bentil, you would also agree, and I'm sure it was part of your preliminary statement, that if the president is the appointing authority, he indirectly also has the authority to revoke that appointment. Isn't that so? That has been the precedence in time past. So you are just asking the court to ensure that the grounds on which any security head is removed should be clear for everybody to know. Is that the point?
Well, many people think that in every case, an appointing authority also has the power to revoke the appointment. It is not so. The president, for instance, can appoint a judge, all right, but cannot remove the judge. So, again, without going to the merits of the matter, it is not true always, depending on the office, that an appointing authority can revoke the appointment. You can appoint, but to go through, there is a process you have to go through if you're going to remove the person. And the law is clear that ranked officers and other service chiefs may not be removed ordinarily except for cause and after due process. So I just want to correct that notion. But you should not take my word for it. That is why we have a Supreme Court. So we have laid all these things before the Supreme Court, and we are hoping that the Supreme Court will make a ruling on it. We don't, have anything to say the Supreme Court rules one way or the other. What we want is that the Supreme Court will clarify that issue, because we have been operating on this assumption for all this time. And many of us have complained that the way politicians handle security services is a bit erroneous. The security of the state is different from the security of the government. And that distinction is extremely important. That is why some officers are protected in a certain way. The police are not there just for the security of the government.
Right.
They are there for the security of the state. So what I want to tell everybody is that, look, it is just to clarify the uncertainty that has ensued in the last few days. Let us all wait for the Supreme Court. We are just hoping that the president will also be happy to wait for the Supreme Court to make a determination of this matter, and then we can move forward.
And Mr. Bentil, briefly before you take leave of us, so what happens in the case of the president actually taking action or removing the IGP or other security heads ahead of the final ruling, which is later in May? Information we are getting indicate that tomorrow the president will be appointing or announcing a new IGP. If that does happen, what happens to the case?
Well, I don't want to believe that the president will do that, because that will be contemptuous of the Supreme Court. That will be, defeating the ends of justice by trying to, overreach the courts. Okay, but if that happens, actually, we are all going to be thrown into a constitutional crisis, because you have a situation where the matter is before the Supreme